If you're looking to get into the software industry as a programmer or a machine learning engineer or even an AI engineer, understanding the concepts of classes in Python is important. In this video, you will learn how easily you can implement classes in Python. I will explain all the basic concepts that you need to understand class implementation. Let's get started. Before getting into practical implementation, let's first understand what exactly is a class. A class is a blueprint for creating objects. Let me explain this with a real life example. Let's take an example of a car. A car has a model name, number of headlights, transmission type, number of airbags, number of doors, etc. A car can start, a car can stop, and a car can drive. Cars can have different manufacturers like Maruti, Tesla, BMW, Mahindra, and so on. Now, with this example in mind, I can create a blueprint for a car. That means I can create a class named car that can have different properties and methods, also known as behaviors. That means a class named car can have the following properties. It can have a model name, it can have a property called number of headlights, it can have another property called transmission type, it can have one more property named number of doors and number of airbags. The same car class can have the following methods: start, stop, drive. These three can be methods associated with the class. Again, by definition, a class is a blueprint for creating objects and it defines properties and behaviors, that is, methods. Here, we have created a blueprint of a car class having different properties and methods like start, stop, and drive. This definition also says it is a blueprint for creating objects. This means I can create multiple objects of this class car. Tesla can be one object, Maruti can be another object, Mahindra can be one more object, and so on. There is no limit on the number of objects. I can now set properties for each of these objects. Let's say for object Mahindra, I can set Mahindra.modelName as XUV700. Similarly, for Maruti, I can set Maruti.modelName as 800. Here, each object has got its own property. An object is an instance of a class. Pay attention to the next few minutes. If you understand this, it will be very simple for you to understand the concept of classes in Python. Let's do some hands-on and get a better understanding of this concept. I have opened a Visual Studio Code and created a file named 07_class.py. Inside the file, I will create a class named car. So I will type class space car followed by colon. Here, class is a keyword in Python. When we use this keyword, it tells the compiler that whatever follows is the class name. So here, car is the name of the class. It is defined as class space car followed by colon. Now, whatever is written inside the class belongs to that class. So, let's define a few properties of the class. Now inside this class, I will define the following properties. Model name equals to default, number of headlights equals to 2, transmission type equals to A, number of doors equals to 4, number of airbags equals to 0. These properties belong to the class and I have assigned default values to it. I will explain what default values mean in a few minutes. Now that we have created class properties, let's define some methods belonging to that class. As I mentioned earlier, a car can start, it can stop, and drive. So let's define them. I will go to the next line and type def start and within round brackets self followed by colon. And in the next line, I will type print car started. Here, def is a keyword in Python that tells the compiler that this is a function. Within round brackets, I have added self. This tells the compiler that the method start belongs to the class and it can be called using class objects. Similarly, I will create two more methods, def stop within round brackets self colon in the next line print car stopped, and the next method def drive print car is driving. Here I have created a blueprint of the class named car having different properties and behaviors. Now I can use this blueprint to create different objects. I can have one object for Tesla, one for Mahindra and one for BMW. Let's see how that is done. I will move outside of the class and type Tesla equals to car followed by round brackets. Here I have created a new object named Tesla of the type car. This object belongs to the car class. Let's access properties and methods of this class. Let's say I want to assign a model name for Tesla. I can type Tesla dot model name equals to within double quotes model X. If you see here, I can now access the properties of the class using the object name. If I want to print the model name of Tesla, I can simply write print within round brackets Tesla dot model name. Let's run this code and see what happens. If you see here, this line of code correctly displayed the model name on the output screen. What will happen if I comment this line of code? Let's try it out. I have commented this line. Now let's run this code again. If you see, the print statement displayed the default value. This means when we create an object, the Python compiler will assign the value defined inside the blueprint by default. It is a good practice to define a default value in the class blueprint. I will uncomment this line again. Now let's create one more object. I'll go to the next line and type Mahindra equals to car followed by round brackets. In the next line, I will print model name of Mahindra object. Print Mahindra dot model name. Let's run it. If you see here, this print statement displayed default as a model name for Mahindra. However, if you see the model name for Tesla, it displayed model X. What does this mean? It means that each object of the class is different. They hold their own instance of properties and methods in the class. Now, if I type Mahindra dot model name equals to XUV 700 and run the code, it should display appropriate values on the output screen. If you see here, Tesla and Mahindra object displayed their own model name. This shows that the object of the class holds their own values. Now let's see how we can access the class methods. I will go to the next line and type Tesla.start. Here I am using the Tesla object and calling the start method of the class. This line of code will execute the start method using the Tesla object. Next, I will do the same thing with the Mahindra object. So I will type Mahindra.start. Now let's run the code and see what happens. If you notice, both of these objects called the method and executed the code inside it. But let's try one more thing. What if I want to display the model name of the car so it describes which car is getting started? For example, instead of just saying car started, it should say Model X started or XUV 700 started. That means I want to access the properties of the object from inside the method. The good news is it is very simple. We can do this by using the keyword self. Here is how. I'll go back to the method definition and modify the print statement. Instead of just printing car started, I will type self.modelName, car started. Now let's run the code again. And there you go. This time it displayed Model X started and in the next line XUV 700 started. So what really happened here? When this line of code got executed, the Tesla object called the start method. Inside the method, we had the print statement that included self.modelName. When Python encounters self.modelName, it automatically looks for the model name property associated with the object that called the method. Since it was Tesla object, it displayed model X, and when the Mahindra object called the same method, it displayed XUV700 started. This is the power of self. It makes sure that whenever a method is called, the properties linked to that specific object are used. If you are getting value out of this video, I request you to support me by clicking on the like and subscribe button. This will help me understand that you are liking my content, and it will help me create more educational videos like this for you all. Now, before we end this video, I want to show you one more important concept. This one is about setting property values while creating an object. So far, we have seen that we can assign default values in the class, or we can update them later using separate lines of code. But there is a more professional way to do this, and that is by using a constructor. Now, what is constructor? A constructor is a special method that gets called automatically when an object is created. We don't need to call it manually. Here is how it works. I will go inside the class and type def underscore underscore init underscore underscore within round brackets self followed by colon, and inside this I will just type a print statement. Print car constructor called. Now let's run the code. And if you notice, the text car constructor called was displayed twice. The first time was when the Tesla object was created, and the second time was when the Mahindra object was created. So previously, we assigned model name after the object was created. But what if I want to set all the property values during the object creation itself? It is very simple. We just need to pass those values as parameters to the constructor. Here is how we do it. First, I will update the constructor definition and add parameters inside the brackets like this. Model name, number of headlights, transmission type, number of doors, comma, number of airbags. Now, inside the constructor, I will assign them to the object's property using self. Self dot model name equals to model name. In the next line, self dot number of headlights equals to number of headlights. Self dot transmission type equals to transmission type. Self dot number of doors equals to number of doors, and self dot number of airbags equals to number of airbags. And that's it. This way, every time we create an object, all the properties get assigned automatically through the constructor. Before we move ahead, just one request. If you haven't already, please click on like and subscribe so I know that this video is helping you. Now, when I'm creating an object, I simply need to pass these parameters. I will edit this line, and within round brackets, let's say model Y, comma, number of headlights as 2, transmission type as A, number of doors, let's say 4, and number of airbags, let's say 6. And I'll comment the next line. I will now run this code. If you see here, the values we passed during the object creation got correctly assigned to the property of the class, and it displayed Tesla.modelName as model Y. One more thing to note here. This program displayed an error while creating the object Mahindra. This is because now with the modified code, this line of code is expecting more parameters. Since we did not pass any parameters for the constructor, it displayed an error. This can be resolved by passing parameters similar to what we did for the Tesla object. Let's update it. I will type XUV500, comma, 2 for number of headlights, M for transmission type, comma, 4 for number of doors, and 4 for, let's say 5 for number of airbags. I'll comment this line as well, and I'll run the code again. If you see here, the code correctly got executed without any error. This is all you need to know to get started with classes in Python. If you understand this, it will be very easy for you to understand any other code written using classes. And I would highly recommend you to watch this video again to get a clear understanding and absorb this concept clearly. Also, if you got value from this video, do not forget to click on like and subscribe. If you click on like and subscribe, this will encourage me to create more videos like this. And if you like my style of teaching, I would highly recommend you to go through my basics of Python tutorial, which covers all the basic concepts in just 40 minutes. I have added a link in the description so that you can click on it and watch it. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below and I will make sure to respond to your comments. Also, you can let me know what exactly you want to learn next. I will make sure to create a video based on your request. Thank you.